I am so excited to chat with you tonight. My name, of course, is Julie Ritter, and I have the privilege of talking about one of my very favorite topics, which is team meetings. And I think it's important for us to start first with what is the objective, what is the point of team meetings? And to me, this sets the whole priority when I really think about my objective. My objective for team meetings is to connect with my team, build on our relationship wherever that's it is. If someone is new on my team and they're just starting to get to know me, or if they've been on my team for a long time and I'm just building more rapport with them. I'm also, in addition to looking to connect with my team, I'm looking to re-engage my team. The time that we spend where we have not been in communication with our team members get disconnected. Team members lose enthusiasm. Team members start having doubts about their business. So our goal is to not only reconnect, but re-energize and engage them in their business. Of course, we also in team meetings want to do recognition, recognize achievements, set the bar, set expectations. One of the best things we do for ourselves is have quality team meetings so that our time is used very wisely. When we can coach instead of one-on-one, but affect people 1-on-5, 1-on-10, whatever size group you're doing is a smart use of your time. So I want to encourage you, whether you're doing a team meeting for 50, 100, or 4 or 5, remind yourself that anything you can do to multiply your efforts is a great use of your time. So with this in mind, knowing our objective, knowing how important it is, what a good use of our time is, we want to make sure that these meetings are not an afterthought. We don't want to just wing it. We don't want to throw it together at the last minute. And I'm not going to say I've never had to wing it. I'm not going to say I've never thrown things together at the last minute. But when I'm the best version of myself, I'm planning ahead, I'm intentional, and each meeting builds on the last meeting. I'm looking to build some continuity and help my team feel connected from one meeting to the next so they won't want to miss the one that's still coming, right? So important. So first of all, we need to sell our meetings to our teams. We just have to sell the value of them. We have to sell the fun of them. And we need to remember that we are creating an experience. Our meetings are something that should be enjoyable, not something that they just kind of get through. They should be on the edge of their seat, whether you're doing your meeting virtually or in person. We need them on the edge of their seat, all right? So remember, I always remind myself that my team is my customer at meetings. I am treating them like a customer. I'm selling to them the idea of why they come to meetings, why they engage with meetings, and why they never want to miss another one. So remember, they're your customer. So just like we do for virtual meetings, we have pre-party post, we need pre-meeting post. So when you're doing post about your team meeting, whether it's a virtual or in person, I do both. Once a month, I do a recipe night for my local people. And then once a month, I do a virtual meeting for my entire organization that's across 27 states, right? So pre-meeting posts happen both for virtual and for live recipe nights. Then, of course, there's the meeting. If it's virtual, that's the meat of the meeting. And then there's also post-meeting. So think about what your post-meeting post will be at a live event. For sure, you're taking pictures as often as you can at your live meetings, whether it's a recipe night or one of my directors does a power hour. Amazing. She's had power hours at a local coffee shop once a month for probably a year. And sometimes 2 people come, sometimes 8 people come. But she treats them with the utmost respect and training and preparation. She does handouts, whether there's 2 people or 8 or 10 people. So she takes pictures at all of her power hours and posts them as her post-meeting post in her team page. When I do recipe nights, I gather the team, whoever's there, around the food. I take pictures and I put them in the post meeting. So plan, be strategic. We want to give everybody on our team that FOMO feeling. You know what FOMO stands for? The fear of missing out. So when we create an amazing experience, we will create FOMO. And suddenly team members won't say, I'm sorry, I was too tired, I couldn't come to the meeting. I'm sorry, I had a headache. They will find out how they can get it done, and they will show up for your meetings, whether they're virtual or live. All right, so pre-meeting, meeting, and post. All right, so let's talk about let's talk about in-person meetings that, again, I call recipe nights, but you can do anything you want with it. What do we need? Well, we need to involve movement. What do I mean by that? If you have a 2-hour time block for your meeting, it should not be segment after segment that's lecture. We need to have games. We need to have people out of their seat, whether you play a quick Jeopardy game, you play a hot potato product pass game. I love to do group work and have people work in a group solving a problem, then they come up and present to the whole group. So when you look at your agenda for a live event, make sure you always look and know every second or third agenda item is movement. And you will lose your team if you do sit and listen, sit and listen, sit and listen. Change your media, change how you do it. Maybe you listen to a 5-minute audio. Maybe you watch a 5-minute YouTube video, and then you do a lecture series, and then you do a pop quiz, and then you do a game. All right. So those are the different pieces. I personally no longer do recognition at live meetings because that lost a lot of people because team members were out of state. They weren't in the room when we were recognizing them, and that got to be too much. But what I do like to do is stand-up recognition. So that's something that doesn't matter who's in the room, you can involve them and they again get to move and get a little pat on the back. So it's stand up if you turned in $1,000 last month. Stand up if you held a power hour. Stand up if you asked every host to consider joining our team. Stand up if you observed another team member's party. And every time they stand up, you clap and you give them a ticket for a drawing at the end of the night. So that's my form of recognition at live meetings. But I save the top sellers, the top recruiters, all of that for the virtual meeting. All right. We always want to leave your in-person meetings with a team challenge and a commitment where people go around the room and say, I'm going to do this based on what your training topic was. If it's, we're going to all try to do a wedding shower, or we're all going to try to do our first fundraiser, whatever it is, then they go around the room. So that's the live meetings in a nutshell. I try to do a theme whenever I can. January, soups and slippers, if you're looking for a generic theme. Or if you're going with Disney and you want to hold that through, there's been a lot of different ideas shared about Disney. Many of us are doing Pinocchio as our character, and what lies are we telling ourselves about our business? And then tracking your results so that you can't lie, because numbers never lie. But if you do a fun theme, I've done name tags often for meetings, and I make the name tag match the theme. So these are, I always do a bead and then I attach something to the bottom that's been laminated. One time we did the energy bus and I had little school buses. For Valentine's in February, we did what I love about my business, and we had hearts. These, obviously Mickey ears, were going to last and use all year long. And again, it's just Mardi Gras easy beads with a little clip on the end, punch a hole, and you've got your fun theme that carries through. And you just collect them and use them month after month. All right, so that's the live meetings that you can do with a theme that's outside of Disney, or you could definitely stick with Disney, which will be really fun. Let's talk about virtual meetings. Virtual meetings have been a little bit of a newer thing. And truthfully, I'm having so much fun. And so what I want to tell you about those, my pre-meeting posts are just like my pre-party posts. What are they? They help people know what to expect, what it's going to be like, and it's about getting them to mark going or getting them to join the group, whatever that is. And so for me, when I say when 50 consultants mark going, I'll do a drawing for a pack of mini catalogs or some recipe cards or 5 PC dollars, whatever you want to say. But some sort of call to action or challenge. Like in our parties, often we do the early bird drawing, and everyone who marks going or joins the group before the party starts at 8 a.m. will be in a drawing. So you could do an early bird challenge for your team members, right? Then once that meeting starts, remember who's your customers, your team members. So all your best practices that you do for a virtual party, you're going to do for a virtual meeting. So some of my favorite things, when I do virtual parties, I don't do a product here and then a different one that's not related next and the next one. They all are tied and connected to each other. So in your virtual meeting, it should be the same. You're going to pick a topic, and 2 or 3 segments in a row are going to be about that topic, and you just go a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. Every post that you do in your virtual meeting should have a call to action where you ask a question for them to respond. So remember, polls. I love using polls in meetings. I love doing on a scale of 1 to 10, have them answer. I love using GIFs. Those are so fun in virtual parties and virtual meetings. So remember, your best practices at a meeting are the same at your parties. And of course, one of the best received segments of virtual meetings is a going live segment that you as the leader do. So I always do a post that says, I'm going live in 2 minutes with a little teaser about what my topic's going to be. That segment is usually about 10 to 12 minutes, and probably half the time it's just me. And I have notes just like I do tonight, and I review my notes and share on a topic. I ask questions, I respond live as they're commenting to me. The other half of the time, I may have a guest speaker. I will have a hot consultant on the team who's doing something great. I invite them ahead of time and we review what they're going to say, so I still know that it's going to be good. And I have a team member hop on and we're on live together. Or I have a fellow director. You can do a sister director or a friend that's a director in the company and invite them to be a guest speaker with you. One time I hired a social media person and they came on. So it's a really fun way to mix it up. And again, you want your meetings to be predictable but fun. So not the predictable like, oh yeah, here it goes again. Oh, this is boring. But predictable in the sense that they know what to expect with expectation that's exciting. Like they can't wait to see, oh yeah, I can't wait to hear this or that. All right. Now, of course, in your virtual meeting, I already shared this is when I do recognition. This is when I post all the sales because people from all over the country are watching or tuning in, or they'll look back at it later. So I personally list everyone who sold $750 or more. They're all listed in the order, and then number 1 has a big star by their name. And of course, I ask people in the post, share one tip you have if you see your name listed below. And then they can share a tip about selling or whatever. I do another recognition segment about who was our recruiters the previous month and who joined our team and why did you join. That's really fun for people to get to hear when they get to learn, oh, that's something that caught someone's attention. Maybe I'll try it. So welcome your new consultants in a recognition post. Recognize your recruiters. I like to recognize $1,000 parties and then ask everyone that I tag or that I was recognized, what is a tip for how to have a $1,000 party? So use your recognition as a training as well. Yes, it's nice for people to say, congratulations, Mary, congratulations, John, but how much more effective or meaningful is it when Mary and John or whoever you tag as being an achiever gets to share tips? And it really gets a buzz going and that meeting explodes. So you can certainly do things when you caught somebody doing something great. If your team had a booking blitz, you could certainly honor whoever the winner of the booking blitz was and then ask who else participated. What was your best tip for getting a booking during the blitz? Something like that. Let me peek and see what else. When you close out your virtual meeting, I always close it with dates for future trainings, and my opening sentences mark these dates in ink. These meetings are planned with your success in mind. the most successful consultants never miss a training. That pretty much gets said in several posts, or even in my live meetings. I will say that. I ask at the end of the training, what are your top 2 takeaways? I do that to help them review, and I even say, scroll back through the event and see which of your takeaways, or what are your top 2 takeaways. That helps me as a trainer see what caught people's attentions the most, and it also helps them review and helps other people learn from each other. How I run my virtual meetings, I just want to say real quick, I used to just live post so I could do it in a separate event, but I need to interact a lot more. I want to comment on comments. I want to make jokes. I want to be fully engaged. And before, when I was manually posting every 4 minutes, I could barely get the next post up and not even have much time to comment. So what I currently do is, in my team group for my whole organization, I create an event so everybody gets notice of it. I do my pre-meeting post in there. I go for the attendance challenge or the early bird challenge. But when the meeting actually starts, I run it back in the group, the organization. So I use Post My Party and have it scheduled that way. Of course, you can use the Facebook scheduler as well. But that's a little bit of the logistics of how that's worked for me. I want to be so engaged in my meetings. I want to talk and comment on comments like I previously mentioned. So I also, after my 2 takeaways that I'm asking them to share, I ask if there's any questions. I tell them I'm going to stay on for 10 minutes after the meeting for any questions they have that might be helpful to others, if it's very specific to them, for them to private message me them or their director. And then I never want to leave a meeting, whether it's live or virtual, without a team challenge, something I'm asking them to do in the next 24 to 48 hours, again, related to your topic that you covered. And in an average virtual meeting, I'm probably covering 2 different training topics, one before the live segment and one after the live segment. And it might be a carryover from the live or what have you. So it could be recruiting, it could be host coaching, it could be customer care, it could be going live, it could be social media tips, calendaring, whatever it is. But think of 2 training topics. And then finally, within 24 hours, I mentioned you're going to have pre-meeting post, the meeting itself, and then post-meeting. I always have a follow-up post the next day that says, what have you done since our meeting that you took action on? Or what have you taken action on from something you learned at our meeting? And then we do that, and then we're done. And that's our wrap up. So I will tell you, you're going to love being able to find some structure in your meetings so it's predictable but not boring. I do recommend, if you do a Post My Party template, you can have your same recognition pictures so it's easy the next month to get ready. Just copy that template, change your whatever, and then you just need 3 or 4 new topics post before the live and 3 or 4 after the live. So it doesn't have to take you a long, long time to prepare for a virtual meeting once you have your structure down. It's really, really helpful. And I hope that you have as much fun doing it as I do, and that your team responds well. And if they don't, ask for feedback. I often do a Google survey. You could end your meeting and say, I'm going to do a drawing from everyone who fills out this Google survey, and ask them, what's your favorite thing about this style meeting? What is one thing you think would make it better? And be okay with feedback, because who's our customers? Our consultants are our customers, and we're selling them on this meeting idea, and we're selling them on why they never want to miss another one. So I wish you great success as you do live and in-person team meetings. Thanks for your time.